I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana.
Sheryl Swoopes has taken her hatred for Caitlin Clark to a whole new level, but Clark has given her the perfect response. Before we jump into the story, doesn't it feel really weird that one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time might be afraid of a rookie? Could this be a case of an old school player not vibing with the new kids on the block? Or is there something deeper going on? Let's start at the beginning. Back in February, before Clark even played her first WNBA game, Swoopes stirred up some drama. Clark had just broken the NCAA scoring record, a huge achievement by any measure. But instead of congratulating her, Swoopes questioned whether it was truly a broken record. Her argument? She claimed that because of the extra year of eligibility granted during the COVID-19 pandemic, Clark had an unfair advantage. There was just one tiny problem with that argument. It was flat out wrong. Clark, like the previous record holder Kelsey Plum, broke the record in 4 years. The extra COVID year had nothing to do with it. When this got pointed out, Swoopes backtracked and apologized. She even shared the private apology she sent to Clark on social media recently, probably trying to calm down the growing backlash. But for many fans, this felt like too little, too late. Especially since Swoopes has never given Clark any flowers despite the latter tearing things up at the WNBA this season. Speaking of which, Clark actually struggled at the beginning of this season, at least by her own standards. Consequently, the Fevers started the season 1-8. That's the kind of start that has coaches updating their resumes, if you know what I mean. But then something changed, and that something was Caitlin Clark finding her groove. Let's break down the numbers, and don't worry, I promise to keep it simple. Before Clark really got comfortable, she was putting up respectable rookie numbers, about 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Not bad, right? But then, boom, something clicked. Maybe it was the Indiana water, or maybe it was the fire lit under her when she didn't make the Olympic team. After that snub, Clark sent her coach a text that's now famous in the Fever locker room. "Hey coach, they woke a monster." Since then, her stats jumped to nearly 20 points, 6 rebounds, and a whopping 9.5 assists per game. And it's not just Clark who's stepped up. The whole Fever team has been on a tear. They've gone 16-8 since that rough start, including winning 8 of their last 10 games. They're riding a 4-game winning streak and have climbed all the way up to the 6th seed in the playoffs. It's the kind of turnaround that sports movies are made of. Now you'd think with all this excitement, everyone in the WNBA world would be talking non-stop about Clark and the Fever. And for the most part, you'd be right. Fans are going nuts. Social media is blowing up with every no-look pass and deep three that Clark sinks. But there's one voice that's been noticeably silent: Sheryl Swoopes. For those of you who might be too young to remember, let me give you a quick Swoopes 101. This woman was a beast on the court. We're talking 3-time WNBA MVP, 4-time WNBA champion, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. When people talk about the greatest to ever play the game, Swoopes is always in the conversation. So when she talks basketball, people listen. Or at least they usually do. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, Swoopes has been noticeably silent. And it's not like she hasn't had the chance to speak up. Earlier this season, when Clark was named WNBA Player of the Week, Swoopes was on air for the announcement. And what did she do? She went silent. Not for a second or two, not for 10 seconds, but for a full 30 seconds. In TV time, that's like an eternity. You could practically hear the crickets chirping. But wait, it gets weirder. Recently, Swoopes was on a podcast talking about the Fever's incredible turnaround. She's praising the team, talking about how the Olympic break helped them, how they've really come together. She mentions players like Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. All great players, no doubt. But you know who she doesn't mention? Yep, you guessed it. Caitlin Clark, the rookie who's leading the entire league in assists, the player who's been at the center of this Fever resurgence. Not a peep about her. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith wouldn't allow the Hall of Famer to get away with that. Sheryl Swoopes. No Caitlin Clark? Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes. Do you have any idea how that makes you look? You realize, Sheryl Swoopes, that you're insane to do that? Smith said. You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball better than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than the men that play basketball. There's no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out. Now, look, we're not saying Swoopes has to be Clark's biggest cheerleader, but to not even mention her, that's like talking about the 90s Bulls and not mentioning Michael Jordan. It just doesn't make sense. So, what's the deal? Is Swoopes just not impressed? Is she holding some kind of grudge? Or is this all just a big misunderstanding? Now, someone might be thinking, come on, maybe Swoopes just doesn't like to gush about rookies. Maybe she's old school like that. And sure, that could be part of it. But here's the thing. It's not just fans who've noticed this weird behavior. Other WNBA legends have started to weigh in too. Take Nancy Lieberman. another Hall of Famer. She filled in for Swoopes on a recent broadcast, and guess what? She had no problem praising Clark. In fact, she went out of her way to highlight how amazing Clark's season has been. And she didn't stop there. Lieberman even went on Stephen A. Smith's show and called out Swoopes directly for her treatment of Clark. This has turned into a full-on WNBA civil war, with legends taking sides and fans going wild on social media. You've got people calling Swoopes a hater and saying she's jealous of Clark. Others are defending Swoopes, saying she doesn't owe Clark any special treatment just because she's the new hot thing. But here's the real question. Why does this matter so much? Why are people losing their minds over whether one former player praises a rookie or not? Well, it's bigger than just Swoopes and Clark. This whole drama is shining a light on some big questions in sports. How do we bridge the gap between different generations of players? Is there a responsibility for legends of the game to lift up new talent? And in a league like the WNBA that's still growing, how important is it for everyone to be on the same page? Let's be real for a second. The WNBA is in an exciting place right now. Viewership is up, more people are talking about the league than ever before, and you've got young stars like Clark bringing in new fans left and right. But it's still not on the same level as the NBA in terms of popularity or money. So when you've got internal drama like this, it can be a distraction from all the great things happening on the court. On the flip side, though, drama sells. People love a good rivalry, even if it's off the court. And this Swoopes-Clark saga, it's got all the makings of a classic sports narrative. The established legend seemingly threatened by the rising star. The young phenom proving the doubters wrong with every game. It's the kind of story that keeps people tuning in week after week. But let's not forget what's really important here. The basketball. Because while all this drama is going down off the court, Caitlin Clark is out there changing the game. She's not just putting up big numbers, she's doing it in a way that's exciting to watch. Her court vision is off the charts. She's making passes that have defenders looking like they're stuck in cement. And her range? Forget about it. This girl is pulling up from the logo like it's a layup. And it's not just Clark. The whole Fever team has been balling out. Players like Kelsey Mitchell are having career years. Aaliyah Boston is looking like a future MVP in the making. This is a team that's gone from being the laughingstock of the league to a legitimate playoff contender in the span of a few months. So as we head into the final stretch of the season and the playoffs, all eyes are going to be on Indiana. Can they keep this momentum going? Will Clark continue to rewrite the rookie record books? And will Sheryl Swoopes finally give her the props that many think she deserves? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. The basketball world will be watching closely to see how it all plays out. Will this controversy overshadow the incredible performances on the court? Or will it spark a necessary conversation about respect, recognition, and the changing face of women's basketball? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And while you're down here, don't forget to like and subscribe for more WNBA coverage. Trust me, with the way this season is going, you won't want to miss a single update.